On a spring evening in 2024, a 19-year-old woman named Sade Robinson went on a date in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She never made it home. Days later, her dismembered remains would be found scattered across counties, an outcome no one could have imagined from a night out that started like so many others, with a dinner, a drink, and a swipe. I'm telling the story of Sade Robinson, a college student whose promising life was brutally cut short. Sade Robinson was a sophomore at Milwaukee Area Technical College studying culinary arts. She was known by friends and family as kind, driven, and passionate about becoming a chef. Like many young people her age, she used dating apps to meet new people. In early April 2024, she told her friends she was going on a date with a man she met online. That was the last time anyone heard from her. Sade didn't show up for work the next day, and her friends and family grew concerned. Her phone went straight to voicemail. She was reported missing shortly after. 2 days later, authorities made a gruesome discovery. A leg, severed at the hip, washed ashore on a beach in Warnemont Park along Lake Michigan.
The haunting photos show an excited Sade Robinson arriving at the Twisted Fisherman in the Menominee Valley April 1st, meeting Maxwell Anderson for a first date. The pair are seen sitting at the bar eating and later leaving together. It's the last image of her alive before she was reported missing, her mom fearing the worst.
What do you think happened to her?
Somebody harmed or hurt my daughter.
The day after that first date, a passerby found Robinson's leg in Warnemont Park. Police discovered her torched car near 29th and Lisbon, and a further search there turned up her foot and other remains. Cell phone records show she'd traveled to Anderson's house the night of that date, the phone also tracking to the sites her dumped remains were found. 12 News captured detectives at Anderson's house in the days following his arrest, and the warrants we've just obtained indicate some of the troubling items they found, including a knife in the kitchen sink, bedding, an axe hanging in the living room wall, a mop in the stationery tub, and maybe most troubling, women's clothing hidden under a tool bench in the basement, more in a garbage can, and still more, quote, concealed between basement support beams and the block foundation, including underwear, a bra, leggings, and a blouse. Police also found an ID card belonging to another woman. Coincidentally, Anderson was back in court this afternoon.
State of Wisconsin versus Maxwell Anderson.
His trial date now set for December. Another warrant obtained by 12 News details a search of Anderson's car, which includes a photo of what a detective wrote, quote, appears to be blood in plain sight on the front passenger door speaker.
Nick joins us live now in the newsroom. Nick, is there any indication in the warrants if detectives believe they've also found a so-called murder weapon?
Nothing that specific, but they did take 5 knives found throughout the house and that axe, but nothing to indicate the dismemberment took place in the house. According to the warrants, police also recovered a handgun case, ammunition, and a holster, but didn't find a gun there. Anderson remains in custody, scheduled to stand trial in December.
All right, Nick Ward.
Soon, investigators connected Sade's last known whereabouts to a man named Maxwell Anderson, age 33, who had gone on a dinner date with her the night she disappeared. Surveillance footage placed them together at a local seafood restaurant. Just hours later, his phone pinged in multiple secluded locations across Milwaukee County. What followed was a trail of horror. Body parts found in separate areas over the next several days, including a human torso and head. A search for Anderson's home and car revealed blood evidence and tools consistent with dismemberment. A confidential informant later came forward, revealing that Anderson had talked about his plans to commit this crime, including where he would do it and what tools he would use, a full month before Sade's murder. Forensic experts confirmed that the remains belonged to Sade through DNA testing. Surveillance and cell phone records supported a timeline of events pointing squarely at Anderson. He was arrested and charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and concealing a death. Prosecutors described the murder as premeditated and sadistic. The community was shaken. Sade's murder sparked outrage, not just for its brutality, but because of its context. Another young Black woman falling victim to violence. The story went viral, drawing national attention and reigniting conversations about dating app safety and systemic inequalities in victim visibility. Plans for a county-funded memorial were initially put in place to honor her life. But after a flood of racist emails targeted the proposal, the memorial was blocked from moving forward. Still, private community groups stepped in to raise funds and ensure that Sade would not be forgotten. As of June 6, 2025, Maxwell Anderson has been found guilty on all counts: first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, hiding a corpse, and arson. The jury deliberated for less than an hour before returning a unanimous verdict. His sentencing date has been scheduled for August 1st, 2025. A civil motions hearing related to the case is set for August 15th, 2025. Sade's family continues to fight for justice, attending every court hearing and speaking out publicly to ensure her story isn't forgotten.
From Wisconsin, where jurors are listening to day 2 of testimony in the deadly first-date murder trial of Maxwell Anderson. Now, Anderson is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and arson in connection with the death of 19-year-old Sade Robinson. Robinson was reported missing after not showing up for work at a local restaurant. Her burned-out car was found the next day, and then in the weeks following, her severed remains were found throughout the area. Well, today, jurors viewed body cam footage of Robinson's torched car. ATF Special Agent Ricky Hankins was called to the stand to testify about the origin of the fire.
Looking at the passenger compartment, so the front seats, the back seats, we had heavy mass loss to contents as well as the seating, both the backrests, and there's more survivability to the seat cushion, but the backrests for the 2 front bucket seats and the backrests for the rear seat were uniformly consumed. And so it was very clear that the fire had originated inside the passenger compartment.
All right, and for the record, while you were talking, I put up Exhibit 62, which has already been admitted. That would be an image of the interior compartment, correct?
Correct.
What can you tell us about the windows?
When I examined the windows, I had a lot of window remnants deep inside the window wells, indicative of the windows being at least partially open during the fire event.
Let's talk about excavation. What happened? What did you notice through that?
So like I said before, when we determined origin, and that being the passenger compartment, we started excavating, looking for what are our fuel loads. The back seat, I remember seeing a fleece blanket, which I believe we see here in this photograph. There were remnants of cardboard, remnants of paper material. I do recall, I believe, a purse in the back seat, There was also remnants of a Bic lighter I recall seeing in the back seat. And as we excavated further now into the front of the passenger compartment, I reached the area of the floorboard on the front passenger side. So front passenger bucket seat, right at foot level. During excavation, I located what appeared to be remnants of a stuffed animal, green in color, at least majority of it green, that had survived. And as soon as I turned it over, I was overwhelmed by an odor consistent with the possible presence of a petroleum distillate. It smelled like, sometimes we can't tell what it is, but it could be gasoline, it could be lighter fluid, it could be any kind of petroleum distillate. But whatever this stuffed animal was appeared to have been saturated with it because it had weight to it. And it was an overwhelming odor that I experienced.
Sade Robinson's story is a haunting reminder that behind every crime statistic is a person, a daughter, a student, a dreamer. Her light was extinguished far too soon. If you're dating online, take precautions. Meet in public, share your plans with friends or family members. Take screenshots of the person from the dating app and send those photos to a friend or family member. Share your location with them. Agree on a buzzword or password you can text or say over the phone to alert them that you're in danger. A few minutes into the date, excuse yourself to the restroom to text that friend or family member, letting them know if the photos on the app match his description, and give details on what he is wearing or she. This can happen to a man or a woman. Once they get you alone and away from the public eye, your control of the situation is minimal. Trust your instincts. Have you been following this case? What are your thoughts? Please drop your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. This is Gail at Night. Thank you all for watching and thank you for supporting. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and set the bell to all.